everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hope you're having a really good weekend.
Hope you're having a great Saturday. Now, today we have Bert with us, or I have Bert with me, and I also have Mr. B with me.
I am here. Yeah.
Today we're going to do a tag, and this is a great tag from Bones Reborns, and he's talking about You and Your Reborn. Now, many of us have more than one reborn, so I don't know whether he wants me to answer this about one reborn or about all my reborns or of my reborns as a group. So we're just going to go through this and answer them as I think fit, basically go with the flow. And I thought I'd have Bert with me because one of these questions is about your forever baby. Bert is the reborn I spent the most time with. He's the one, he's the one. Everyone has a go-to baby. He's not a baby. Yeah, I know you're not a baby. I know. Look, don't take that tone with me. Don't look at me in that tone of voice. But he's the one that I spend most time with. He sits on the sofa by me. And he's kind of one of the very special ones, isn't he, B?
He is. I've often heard people say, don't look at me in that tone of voice. I've seen your type on the radio.
I haven't heard that bit. I've heard don't look at me in that tone of voice, but I haven't heard I've seen your type on the radio. That's a good one. So, should we start with the questions?
Yes,
and then if you want to join in anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got the questions. So
Right.
We'll begin with, who is your reborn made by?
I have 16 reborns, and some of them are made by different people, but the majority of my reborns are made by Elaine Colbert of Ellie's Babies. I also have them made by Pink Angel Reborns. She's who made my Harry. And I also have the twins made by Hayley Millichamp. I do not know who made some of them because they were bought on eBay and they were second hand. So some I don't know. But most of them were made by Ellie Colbert, and she's just a wonderful reborn artist.
Certainly quite a little family growing there.
Definitely.
Who was your very first reborn?
My very first reborn was Leah Rose. She was a silicon reborn, Angela Harris's Annabelle kit. And she was a delicate little angel baby, and she was really, really beautiful. And I loved her to bits, but I was terrified of touching her in case I damaged her. I actually did. I was dressing her one day and her head popped off, and it freaked me out to bits. So there came a time when I needed to raise money for our wedding, and Leah went to a new home with my friend Amy in Scotland, and that's where she is now. And at the end of March, we're going to be able to get to see her, Mr. B, aren't we? Because
that's right.
Because Amy's coming down to stay with her, to see us rather, not to stay with us, but to see us. And she's going to be bringing Leah with her.
So that's great, isn't it? It'd be good to see her again.
It'll be wonderful
really
to see
will.
her. I can't wait to have Leah cuddles. And it's wonderful, isn't it, B, that Leah is to Amy what Bert is to us.
I think that's great. As you say, everyone has a favourite baby, don't they?
Yes, and it's just terrific that Leah has been to Amy what Bert has been to me.
Now, it's a little bit bad form for me to ask you this one, but how old were you when you first got into reborns?
Oh Lord, got to think now. Well, 7 years ago. So what? 43? Something?
Yes.
Yeah, is that right?
44.
44.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. 44. So yeah, about 7 years ago.
Yeah, which kind of answers, how long have you been collecting reborns?
7 years.
Yes. Do you have a forever baby? And if not, do you have a baby in mind that could be your forever baby, maybe in the future?
He's sitting right here on my lap. Bert is my forever baby. In a fire, I'd save him first. In fact, we did have a save him first moment, didn't
Yes,
we,
we
Bea?
did. Yes.
Last January, our boiler exploded in the middle of the night. And do you want to explain what
Yes,
happened?
it did actually explode. Okay, so there was water gushing everywhere, and we had quite a difficulty in getting it stopped. I won't go into all the details now, but we did have a bit of a problem. But the first thing that we thought about was obviously Bert, wasn't it?
And Lacey.
And Lacey, of course.
Basically, Lacey's your priority.
Yes.
She's your forever girl. And mine is Bert. So basically, we tried to get... It was 1 o'clock in the morning. We didn't know what to do. We didn't know how to turn the water off. We were trying to get some help. And basically, you were saying to me, get into your wheelchair, get Bert, and I'll get Lacey, and if we have to call the fire brigade and get out, at least they'll be safe.
Yes.
And we were quite in earnest, you know. They were that important to us. If everything else was destroyed, we had to be sure of Bert and Lacey.
Yes. You can deal with everything else,
Yeah.
but they would be quite difficult.
I think, you know, if anything happened to Bert, I don't know what I'd do, seriously. That might sound completely mad to some people, but it's not mad to me. I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to Bert. Oh, my goodness.
I know. Doesn't bear thinking about, does it?
It doesn't.
No. What is the best part of your reborn?
He's got two. Talking about Forever Baby again. So I'll answer this for Bert. He's got two. His ears and his hair. Because he's a leprechaun, he was made, Bert, from a character that you created. And then I took over writing, that was made into stories, and that was then drawn from my design. It's a long story, this. Maybe I'll tell it one day, if I haven't told it already, which I rather think I have.
I think you have.
But he has leprechaun ears, little pointy ears. And his ears are wonderful. They are the magic for me. I can't tell you the story, but later in the week you'll hear about something to do with his ears.
Okay, they are very special, aren't they?
They're very special. And his hair. Do you know, I was once at a doll show, and I had Bert. Do you remember this, Rhea? You'll remember this because you were with me. I was at a doll show with Rhea, who was pushing my wheelchair, and we had Bert on my lap. And people who knew me from Facebook kept coming up to me and saying hello. And I'm like, how did you know me? And they'd say, well, I knew you for a start because I'd know that hair anywhere. And I knew Bert because of his ears and his hair. I love his hair. I love Bert's hair. Oh, hasn't he got beautiful hair? Everybody was saying that. I don't know if Rhea remembers, but I remember that everybody who was coming up to say hello to Bert and me was saying, oh, doesn't he have beautiful hair? And that's what everybody says. If I'm out with Bert, they often don't notice his ears, especially now that they've been remodeled to be shorter, because the taller ones kept breaking. When he first had him, he had tall ears, but they kept breaking. Now that he has these littler ones, often people don't notice them, but they notice his thick curly hair, and they say, oh, he's got beautiful hair. Look at his hair. Yeah, his ears and his hair. They're best parts of him, aren't they, sweetheart?
Now, I think you'll have a view on this one. Okay. What does your reborn look best in?
Designer clothes. I had this thing that when I first had my reborns, and I have it still for the most part, that I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on clothes because A, I didn't want to be seen as a show-off, and B, I didn't have the money, and C, as long as my reborns were dressed nicely, I didn't see sort of the point in splashing out on designer clothes. And then one night I was just nerdling about on the web, and I found this website where there was a sale of designer clothes, and I bought Bert some Armani jeans, much like, in fact, I think it is the ones he's wearing. I bought these Armani jeans and a white shirt, sleeveless, a short sleeve shirt. And no, it wasn't a short sleeve. It was a polo shirt, just a polo shirt, much like the one he's wearing. If it wasn't this one, he is wearing. And I got him into them, and it came in a beautiful box, all wrapped up in tissue paper and smelling of Armani cologne. And there was a yo-yo in the box for him. And it was all lovely and beautiful, and I got him into them, and I was just smitten. He looked so gorgeous. He felt, and I just knew he felt so gorgeous. It fitted him so nicely. The quality was so gorgeous. I know somebody who says to me, there's no difference in the quality between an Armani pair of jeans and one that's made by George. I'm sorry, but I beg to differ. There is. You can feel it. You can feel it in the quality of the material. You can feel it in the stitching. You can feel it in the buttons. You just can feel it. I don't even have to see it. You can feel it. And just for Bert, he doesn't have a lot. I don't do it often, but every now and again, I love to buy him designer clothes.
Okay, that's a great answer.
Sorry,
really
I know I'm banging on.
No. Good answer. Okay, 3 to go, I think. So, what is your favourite part of the hobby?
I love the way it brings people together and lets you make friends all over the world. Now, if you can get into that, it's wonderful. If you're on the outside of it trying to get in, it's awful. For quite a long time, I was on the outside trying to get in. And you feel very as if you're never going to make any impression, and you can't find anybody, and you don't know anybody. And it's very hard.
Yes, I remember a few things about that myself when you were going through that.
It's very hard. It's like, how am I ever going to find anyone who has reborns? How am I ever going to get into this? Because I'd watch YouTube videos and it would be, oh, Auntie so-and-so sent me this and Auntie so-and-so sent her that. And I'm like, how do these people know each other? You know, I don't know anybody. I'll never know anybody. And once you're on the inside, it's like being in a big, warm, loving family. Except when it's not. You know what I mean? But, you know, when everything's working and everything's peaceful and everyone likes each other, it's the most wonderful feeling in the world to belong to this community. It really is. But when you're trying to get in, it's really, really hard. So that's why I always, if I find a channel I like, I always try to give them a shout out. If I know there's someone who's got reborns and they want to be introduced to other people, I always try to help if I can, and I'd encourage anybody to do the same, because when you're outside looking in, it's the loneliest place in the world. Believe me, you think that you're on your own and you've got nobody.
Okay, and I think even I know the answer to this one. All right, how big is your reborn?
He is, this one in particular is 32 inches tall.
Oh, I was an inch out.
But I have reborns ranging from 42 inches, or is it 48 inches? I can't remember now. 3 feet 6 inches tall, that's how big Lacey is, to 16 inches, which is how big Toby is. So I have reborns of all shapes and sizes.
Okay, and on a scale of 1 to reborn-tastic, how awesome is your reborn?
That's a hard one. I have reborns of all kinds. I have some that obviously I would say Bert is completely reborn-tastic. I love him to the moon and back. Of course I would say he's reborn-tastic. And I have some that I love anyway, but I would say, I'd never say any of my reborns were one. But some of them I find a little harder to love as much as I should, because for one reason or another. So I will just say some and some. I won't give any numbers. I will say for Bert, he's completely reborn-tastic. Completely.
And he's the main man for this video, so we'll focus on that. And that's all the questions, actually.
So yeah, it was a lovely tag to do, and I really enjoyed doing it. And it's Bones Reborns tag, and if you haven't checked out his channel, do check it out, because he makes really interesting videos. He's got a lovely reborn called Maggie. She's a full body silicon, and he's also very creative and makes things and does things and has an Etsy shop and stuff. So check him out if you haven't already. Couple of other channels I like before we stop. Blessed Days is another one I've been watching a lot, and this has also been mentioned elsewhere, but I'll say it too. And Angels to Treasure is another one I really like. And again, In the Sparrow's Nest, I mentioned that yesterday, but again, In the Sparrow's Nest, I really, really like that channel.
I just love all the names of them.
Oh, yes.
They're all lovely, aren't they?
Yes, definitely. Positivity. Brilliant. So that's all for today. We'll be back on Monday. Obviously, we'll be back with Lacey tomorrow, but we'll be back on Monday. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves and enjoy your babies. And let's be good to each other.
Definitely.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.